It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and outside it's still completely dark. My 14-year-old son is sound asleep in his bed. I switch on the light and gently but firmly shake him awake. I know it's unpleasant, but like tearing off a Band-Aid, it's easier to get it over with quickly. It may sound harsh, but it might also feel very familiar. And every single morning, I catch myself thinking the same thing. How can I knowingly do this to my own child? You see, I'm a sleep researcher. I understand exactly what's happening when I force my son to wake up this early. I know I'm cutting short the sleep his body desperately needs during this critical stage of growth. I also know that by waking him hours before his natural biological clock says he should be awake, I'm stealing some of the most important sleep he can get. This is the stage of sleep most closely tied to learning, strengthening memories, and processing emotions. And the truth is, it's not just my son who is losing sleep. Across the United States, sleep deprivation among teenagers has reached epidemic levels. Only about 1 in 10 teens manages to get the recommended 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night, the amount advised by sleep scientists and pediatricians. The biggest reason teenagers aren't getting enough sleep isn't simply lifestyle or technology. A major factor is actually public policy. All across the country, many middle and high schools begin their day around 7:30 in the morning, and sometimes even earlier. This happens despite clear recommendations from major medical organizations that schools should start no earlier than 8:30 a.m. These early start times have a powerful impact on how little sleep teenagers are able to get. In effect, they force teens into a battle they simply cannot win, a battle against their own biology. When puberty begins, something important changes in the teenage body. Their internal biological clock shifts later. This clock is what controls when we feel alert and when we naturally become sleepy. Part of this shift comes from a change in the release of a hormone called melatonin. In teenagers, the body doesn't begin releasing melatonin, the hormone that signals the body to prepare for sleep, until around 11 p.m. That's roughly 2 hours later than what we see in adults or younger children. What this means in practical terms is striking. Waking a teenager up at 6 in the morning is biologically similar to waking an adult at 4 a.m. And on the rare days when I personally have to get up at 4 in the morning, I feel completely exhausted. I'm basically a zombie. My brain feels foggy. I can't think clearly. I'm irritable and unfocused. And honestly, I probably shouldn't even be driving a car. Yet this is exactly how many American teenagers feel every single school day. A lot of the behaviors we tend to blame on adolescence, mood swings, irritability, lack of motivation, even depression, may actually be symptoms of chronic sleep deprivation. For many teens struggling with constant sleep loss, the most common coping strategy is caffeine. They turn to large doses of it in the form of sugary frappuccinos, energy drinks, and concentrated caffeine shots. The result is an entire generation of young people who are both exhausted and overstimulated at the same time. Researchers and advocates who support later school start times understand something very important. Adolescence is a period of intense brain development. During these years, key areas of the brain are rapidly maturing, especially the regions responsible for higher-level thinking skills such as reasoning, problem-solving, and sound judgment. In other words, this is the very brain activity that helps control the impulsive and sometimes risky behaviors so commonly associated with adolescence. Experts understand that when teenagers miss out on the sleep their bodies need, the consequences show up everywhere, in their brains, their physical health, and their behavior. When teens are sleep deprived, their ability to concentrate drops sharply. their attention span shrinks. In fact, some of the behaviors they display can closely resemble the symptoms of ADHD. But the effects of chronic sleep loss extend far beyond poor focus in the classroom. Unfortunately, lack of sleep also contributes to many of the mental health challenges that rise dramatically during the teenage years. In research conducted with students from the Los Angeles Unified School District, we discovered that teenagers who struggled with sleep were 55% more likely to have consumed alcohol within the previous month. Another large study involving more than 30,000 high school students revealed something even more alarming. For every single hour of sleep that teens lost, the likelihood of feeling persistently sad or hopeless increased by 38%. Even more troubling, the risk of suicide attempts among teenagers rose by 58%. And the dangers don't stop there. Teenagers who regularly cut back on sleep face a higher risk of several major physical health problems that already affect millions of people across the country. These include conditions such as obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. There's also the serious issue of putting sleep-deprived teenagers behind the wheel of a car. Research has shown that getting 5 hours of sleep or less per night can impair driving ability to a level comparable with having a blood alcohol concentration above the legal limit. Over the years, scientists studying adolescent sleep have produced strong and consistent evidence about the benefits of starting school later. The results are remarkably clear. Teenagers attending schools with later start times consistently get more sleep. They are also more likely to attend school regularly. In one school district, absenteeism dropped by 25% after the start time was delayed. Students were also less likely to drop out altogether. Academic performance improves as well. Standardized test scores in both math and reading increased by 2 to 3 percentage points. That kind of improvement is comparable to the effect of reducing class sizes by nearly 1/3. The advantages extend beyond academics. Students' mental and physical health improves. Family life often becomes less stressful and more positive. Communities benefit too. In one district, the number of car accidents involving teenagers dropped by an incredible 70%. With benefits this significant, you might assume the solution would be obvious. It seems like a simple decision. So why hasn't society widely adopted later school start times? The truth is that delaying the school day does come with logistical challenges. School districts may need to redesign bus schedules, deal with higher transportation costs, and reconsider the timing of sports practices and extracurricular activities. Families may also worry about childcare arrangements before or after school. But these are challenges that can be solved. They should not be used as excuses to avoid doing what is clearly best for our children. The evidence strongly supports a simple step. Middle and high schools should begin no earlier than 8:30 in the morning. School districts across the country, both large and small, that have already made this change report that many of the initial concerns were exaggerated. In reality, the benefits for student health, academic performance, and public safety far outweigh the difficulties of making the transition. Education has always been one of the most powerful ideas we can share. That's why we created a channel devoted entirely to highlighting and celebrating the ideas of educators. Visit our Educator Talks channel, where you can explore more about our programs for teachers and also watch the full uncut version of this presentation.